Hello, beautiful people. It's Lennon. I'm filming a video outside today, which is exciting because now that it's warming up a little. Sorry, we're getting visited by the bees. Now that it's warming up, y'all know I like to come sometimes outside and check out the scene. Okay, this bumblebee is getting ferocious. I know you probably have babies, but leave me alone for a little while. Today I wanted to do something kind of fun. I know it's a face video, so you're not going to get a lot of immersement with the cards today. I mean, I'll show them like this, okay? But for real, I really probably need you to get your own deck out for this and look through it yourself. Now, we're going to be talking about the majors today. Something exciting happened on Instagram a while ago. A viewer of my channel, or just a lover of Thoth, I don't even know if they watch my channel. I hope they do. But they reached out and they said something about, or they asked, like, have you ever noticed that all the majors seem to be holding something? And I was like, that might be something I'll look into. And it has been something I've been looking into. Now, like I said, I've gotten some of the majors out. Now, some of the majors, like the Magician, they're not really holding anything per se. They're just like the stuff is floating there, like that little, the Orphic egg and the stylus, and the wand, stuff like that. It's just like floating there, like, it's like levitating above their hands and not really holding anything. But I decided to see what we could see. So if you're looking at your deck, I wanted to mention sometimes I found like similarities. Okay, now of course we know that, of course, these two cards, the Lovers and the Art card, are linked. But in terms of them holding things, I thought that was super, super interesting because the Fool is holding that flaming pine cone, and the cup, right? Now, that links to, symbolically speaking, I'm guessing here, it links to the lance and the chalice, I guess, the cup, in the Lover's hands down here. Okay, they're holding, it's really small. They're holding a lance and a cup down here, which we could say like nods to a phallic symbol and a receptive symbol, but I don't think it is. I think what it's referring to is the Holy Grail here. I think it's referring to the Holy Grail. Now, if you think back onto all the Bible stories and Sunday schools you went to, the Holy Grail was when the lance pierced Jesus, okay? When he's laying there on the cross, the lance from one of the Romans pierces Jesus, and the blood that comes out of that cut is put into a cup. That's the Holy Grail, okay? So this is what this is. Now, I think that links to the chalice and the flaming pine cone in the Fool card. So again, that's like linking this nothing, this pre-manifestation of the Fool, this, I don't want to call him a void, but he's like the personification of nothingness. That's what I want to say. And then the Art card is the full amalgamation of the Lover's card, okay, in this Thoth system. And they've got a flame and water. So I think that this is nodding to, let's put these back in order. I think it's nodding back to the lance and the chalice on all three cards. I think linking them in some kind of way. Now, one of the like, whoa, far back Thoth videos I've done, I did a video called Vital Triads. Now, I know people that my video quality back then was shit. But bear with, because I spout a lot of information to you guys in that video. So if you're interested on like cards that actually link, I think I did a video of like terrible twos or some shit, like where two cards link, and then I did Vital Triads, which are like the Demiurge and things like that. There's always like a 3-card system with cards, some of the cards like this. So if you're interested in actual cards that link up, go watch those, pretty good video quality Lennon. Okay. Now I wanted to reach this card, Because to be honest, when we're talking about the lance piercing Jesus, the blood coming down and into the cup, which goes to the Holy Grail, then to me, the Fool, the Lovers, and the Art card have that kind of a, you know, this is the Holy Grail, we're holding it and we're using it, we're using alchemy to utilize it somehow. And then we've got this. Now, the Chariot is this like beautiful freaking image here, but the middle, even though you really can't tell, I mean, to be honest with you, I know that in synthetic projective geometry art, it would have to have looked a certain way, but this is supposed to be the Holy Grail here, right? It kind of looks like one of those pendants that has the chain hooked to both sides to where like it's not on that one in the middle, it's on two sides. Love those things. They just look so ancient. It's kind of like an Art Deco jewelry, to be honest with you, if you're familiar at all. But this is supposed to be an amethyst. Now, it's not really purple, okay? You cannot tell that this is some kind of crystal. So I'm not sure why it looks the way it does, but if you really pay attention and you like offhandedly know that it's supposed to be a crystal, then there's a point, right? And then it kind of comes down like a pyramid. So I like to think of this as like a circle pendant, and it comes up into like a pyramid shape from a circle, not a square, if that makes sense. But it is made out of a crystal, like it's tumbled in a specific way, and that's why the color and the light coming through all those facets would look that way. So I don't know, I mean, that's what I think about when I see this. Quitting my rambling here, the Holy Grail is this circle thing that the Chariot is holding. So this, to me, kind of links to all that. Like, it's between, see, like, it's after the Lovers, right? So, it's like 6, 7, right? I know it's like, I don't know which, ugh, you know, but whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So you've got 6, and then you have 7. So it's like the lance and the chalice here, it's the pre-alchemy. It's we're doing something with it, and the Chariot is taking it to this sacred grove that this hermaphrodite figure in the Art card is like in this grove of trees, right? Ooh, I'm losing cards here. It's like in this grove of trees, right? Let's get back to this. It's like in this grove of trees, and you know, they've got this golden cauldron, this golden thing that they're working in, right? Like a sacred space, a sacred place that all this alchemy is going to take place in, right? So the Lovers card, we figure out it's like the blood is being spilt and is filling the cup, right? I'm just kind of like going off imagination here. And then the Chariot is taking it somewhere. It's taking this lovely chalice filled with Jesus's blood somewhere special for the Temperance Art card to do some crazy shit with, you know? Of course it's gonna be windy today, so I decided to film outside. Anyway, so I feel like all 4 of those could kind of link together in terms of Holy Grail. Then we have the next 3 cards that I want to talk about, which are the Empress, the Emperor, and the Hierophant. Now, the Empress, respectively, is only holding this lotus, this open lotus. Now, that, to me, that links her to all the love goddesses that have ever been. And it's open, so that's like fertility, right? This unfurling of the feminine, right? So I think that is, like, if you had one symbol, if you had one something, like a bear symbol, right? To just kind of put something on an Empress card, for me it would have been the shield, but to kind of make her feel more regal, because in terms of monarchy, an emperor is the highest form of royalty. So, I don't know, it seems kind of weird that it wouldn't be the shield, but I think that in this system, it's more the lotus. It's more the Not necessarily her royalty, but her royalty as the feminine, if that makes sense. And then, of course, the Emperor, this beautiful monochromatic image here. Again, we see the shield down here, which, again, I associate with the Emperor and the Empress. But he's holding the ram stick, or the ram wand, but the orb with the cross on top, which to me links him to his power. I think it's a symbol of power. But it also reminds me of like church iconography. So it links me to the Hierophant as well. And it being the card right before that, it's almost like it's like a nod that the Emperor works in tandem with the church back in the day, right? Like, you know that movie, Three Musketeers? God, that was Tim Curry at his fucking finest, wasn't it? All for one and more for me. Ooh, to have met him, to get under that silk garb. Anyway, and then the Hierophant, of course, is holding the triple-headed key. Now, this is mentioned as a key, but to me, it's not really a key. I mean, we see a key in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith system. Well, we see two keys, but I don't know if it's necessarily a key. But I think what it is just a symbol that says that he can unlock the as above, so below mentality within him. Like, whatever may be happening with his flock, he knows it's happening up there. And he's bringing it all. He's like the middleman, right? I think that's the symbol of his power on earth. And it being linked to this, I guess, back to the magician of the as above, so below mentality. So, not to mention the trinity in the universe, right? So it links to all that. But for real, I do think that they're somehow, in terms of what they're holding, I think that it links to power. I think that it links to personal power in all three of the cases. Like, what they're holding are symbols of their power, whether it be their royalty, their masculine and feminine energies, their power in terms of like royalty versus divinity. Like, I don't know. So your personal power, your personal as above, so below power. You working the macro and the microcosm. I don't know. You tell me. I will say this, that this viewer, I forgot your name, sweetie, I'm sorry. But when they reached out, I was so excited to get on with this. I was like, oh, I'm kind of here for this. So I appreciate you telling me about this. Okay, let's get back into the other majors. Now, I skipped over the High Priestess, because to me, the High Priestess, I think in all of these, if they are holding something, for me, it's more so they are holding their actual symbols of power. Like the Hierophant, Emperor, and the Empress, whatever they're holding is that symbol of their power. And the High Priestess is no different. She's holding, you see how this bow of Diana, that's really a 3-stringed harp, so it's like a music aspect of it, right? But it's more so that she's not holding that. That's just sitting on her lap. It's ready to be picked and plucked, okay? But it's not being utilized right now. What is being utilized is the net of the universe, the net between all these alternate realities. She stands on the precipice of all of it. And she's like this vision in white, this, primordial Eve that we're all connected to. I don't know, let's not get on my rant about that. But she's holding the net. She's holding the veil. I like to call it a net. Here, let me get my head out of this so you can like see a picture. I like to call it a net because I really do think of magic that way in terms of like my own witchcraft. I think of ley lines, right? Like, think the Librarians TV show. I think of it in terms of ley lines and plucking your energy from those ley lines, putting back your energy over a ley line, crossroads, things like that. So I very much do think of the I guess you could think 6th grade geography class for that, like the lines of latitude and longitude, and then figuring out energy pockets around the world. Like, yeah, this shit was fascinating to me. So I do call it a net, but it is really a veil. So she's holding that veil. Let's see what's next. All right, finally I got these shits back in order now. Again, what they're holding is their symbols of their power. So justice is next. And she's standing there holding this sword. Now, I love her feet. Back when I used to embody the Thoth cards, I need to start doing that again. I just have, I don't know, like my Instagram has just gone like to the toilet because there's just so much to do about the algorithm that I'm just like, want to do this to it. Not that it matters, I just hate that some people can't see my posts, and that's why I highlighted some of the ones, like the posts that I do of dressing up as the Thoth cards. I really liked embodying the cards, and I really enjoyed embodying her. But I love her feet. She's standing like there's like an inward gesture here. Like she's in, like the justice is within. I think that's why her feet are pointed that way, like literally on point. I don't know, that might just be me. And any other dancers out there? Not that I've ever done point, because that shit is hard. But I just love that the sword seems to be facing you, but then her feet aren't. So it's like there's a sacred curl to her body that's protecting the sword, that's protecting the justice that is her. Again, I believe that the sword is the most important symbol here. That's why she's holding it. Now, I like the hermit. Best hermit ever anyway. But in terms of what he's holding, he's not holding the wheat. He's not holding the spermazone. He's not holding Cerberus. I had a brain fart there. And he's not holding the Orphic egg. He's holding the lantern. So even if we were to go back to like medieval tarot, excuse me, medieval tarot here, and think about the hermit as Father Time, or time in general, time and space, you know, this thing that we encounter before the wheel turns. What is it? It's that moment of hesitation that we're forgetting to utilize, that moment that we need to step back away from everything and shine the light on what's most important. So I think the lantern here is the most important thing. Not solely about the solitude aspect of the hermit card itself, but more so that sacred hesitation, that push back. And then once we've done that, light it all up. Light me on fire. Light that candle in there and show me what is most important. I think that's the message of the hermit for me anyway. Ooh, and then we're getting into my favorite card. Lust. Ah, sacred beast rider. Anyway, what's she holding? She's holding her sacred cup of abominations. Now, I love that this doesn't look like a chalice, like this isn't an actual cup, that this is somehow like, you know what it reminds me of? Those commercials on TV where they're showing you a hair follicle, like that skin, like here's the surface of your skin and dirt can get under the pore and this is what you do to clean it out and shit like that. It's like a Neutrogena commercial or some shit. It always reminds me of skin. And so I kind of think about skin, and I think about her showing a lot of skin, and so it's almost like this, the cup of abominations is probably full of all those urges, all those times where you just want to shed your fucking clothes and go dance naked under the full moon like them witches from long ago and not care. You know? It's like that time in the garden where Eve and Adam finally realized they were naked and felt shame. It's like she's embodying the cup of abominations as that sacred nakedness before shame came into it. It's like, how would you act if shame was not a factor? So I like to think back on like this ancient concept of what would the people back then in Adam and Eve's time, what would they have done with no shame? you know, bellies hanging out, titties sagging. It's like, what? Nobody cared. Nobody cared. They recognized everyone was different. There was just like gaiety all over. Right? No shame is what I'm saying. No shame. Not to mention the sensuality of that. Okay? I imagine so much like ubiquitous people walking around. Anyway, this is like my favorite card. I just always get inspired to think about things when I pull this card. I think once I did a spread by Whiskey Stevens. It was like a wild woman spread, and I got like what is the message of my inner wild woman, and I pulled this card for that position. Ooh, I'm gonna leave that below. It was a while ago on her website. It may still be up. If I can find it, I'll leave it below, but I thoroughly enjoyed that spread, so I will leave it below for you. Anyway, so she just inspires me so much to think outside the box, and I always get like a new story that comes to mind when I pull her. So not that this was going to be a rant filled video, just wanted to have a little fun with you guys. Okay, the next one is Death. He's holding the scythe. Now for me, this being a Saturn card and a Scorpio card, there's so much going on here in terms of astrology, but why the scythe? If the core of this card is the darkness of Saturn and the waters of Saturn, and think of the tree of life, and it's like I said, Scorpio too. It's like there's so much going on with this card. Why did everyone put the scythe on him as his main symbol instead of a scorpion? Like, he could be dangling a scorpion right here. It could be something about the darkness in the water, it being Saturn, right? I don't know. For me, I feel very connected to those parts of the card. But when I think of, again, we think of the ancient tarot, it was a nameless card. So no one really knew it was death. It was implied because it was a skeleton with a scythe. But it wasn't named. It was just numbered, right? And there could be something about superstition on there. And how the greatest superstition is in, those lie in fear. Superstitions do. I always assume, even though I am superstitious about some things, okay? I always assume that those big superstitions are surrounded in fear. So it's like, is this card the embodiment of fear? Then, of course, the most scary symbol you would have come up with back in the day would have been a scythe, you know? You see that coming at you in the, when somebody's hacking weeds, you get out of the way. The last two is the Star and the Moon card. Now, the Star has got her two buckets, her two chalices here. Now, I believe on some level this links to the Holy Grail too, it being a chalice in and of itself, them being chalices. I think that it nods back to the Holy Grail. And because the pink liquid is a mixture of life liquids, which is blood and breast milk, and bodily genital fluids, you think, okay, well, I think about, and I don't think it's just menstrual blood. I think that there's a birth and death as well. So it could be blood from death, right? So it could be all the liquids, like all of our liquids that make us human, and to create more humans and to die humans off. We kill somebody, it's going to produce blood, right? Stuff like that. So I don't know. I think that the cups here link back to the Jesus story of the Holy Grail, but the sacredness in fluids that make us up. Blood, of course, being the most vital, and water. I don't know, you tell me. I just think that it could link back to those other cards. Beautiful Star card. And then you have the last card, which is the Moon card. La 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 la. Right? And you've got Anubis. And I think it's a Met. I think Crowley says something different, but in the book. I'd have to go inside and get my damn book out. Like I haven't studied this damn book enough. But you see, both of them are holding something. Now, what's interesting is that they're not the same thing. I know a lot of people probably know that already, but upon like first glance at this card, you think that they're both holding the Ankh, right? But one is the Ankh. Let's see which one. One is the Ankh. I'm guessing it's this with a line through it. And then the other one is Mercury. So it's just like a nod to this, you know, to astrology there. And then a nod, of course, to Ankh, like with the symbol of life. And you know, you're going through this gate, this tunnel leading to Mayat. So anyway, I guess in terms of this card, it really, the Ankh would only, it's like regeneration and things like that. I always associated the Ankh with like life and regeneration. I guess rebirth to an extent, but in terms of like an Egyptian symbol, it's not an illusionary symbol. But it could just be because it's a nod to Anubis and things like that. But then of course Mercury has its relativity here, it being a Mercury card. So now one thing they're holding is these jackal-headed staffs, right? Which let me send you back to the beginning here. Here we go. The Magician card. Here we go. See the where is it? It's right here. That staff there. There's a jackal-headed wand. I always assumed that was a wand, but it could be a staff. Could be the staff of Anubis sitting there. I don't know. It's the exact same thing, so of course we could say that it's a nod to that. Now I know that this viewer, they said that every card's holding something, but I mean, like this isn't. And the World card, you really can't tell. Like it looks like she's holding a scythe, it looks like she's holding a snake, but it could just be that her arms are fanned out, like in receptivity of the universe. And then I think the other one is the Aeon card. They're not holding anything. And of course the fairy babies in the Sun card aren't holding anything. The Tower card doesn't have any actual humans in it. They're humanoids. The Devil card can't hold anything with hooves. And the Hangman has nails in his hands. So of course, might be a while before he holds something again. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. This was just supposed to be like a fun little video, because I really have felt drawn to like just play with my deck and not be so like informational about some of these videos. It's been nice to kind of sit here and ramble about seeing what's in their hands. I don't know. I appreciate the viewer, whatever your name is. I'm sorry. It was really, really fun to have like kind of a lackadaisical Thoth Thursday, but nevertheless, come back in a couple of Thursdays for some more Thoth love. Much love, people.